If you're here, you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering why your prompts aren't working. From going through this process myself firsthand, I went through some of the mistakes for you guys so you don't have to go through them. But I did identify 3 major mistakes that you're probably making. One of the first and major mistakes that a lot of people make with image prompting or any type of prompting with AI is you're being too vague. You have to narrow it down and get really specific with what you want. It's like going to a restaurant. You don't just say, yeah, give me a steak.
Wait, what? What'd you say?
They're going to ask you exactly how you want the steak cooked. What temperature do you want that steak prepared for you at? What kind of sides would you like? Would you like something to drink? There's more details to the entire experience of you going out for a steak dinner than you just saying, hey, let me get a steak real quick. The second mistake that you're making is you're not using style references. This one is specific to image generation. You have an idea in your head a lot of times, and it's just in your head. It's no good to anybody if it's in your head. You have to plug that idea into your chat prompt and say, hey, I'm looking for this style of image. Describe it in the text, but then also put that style of image in your prompt. This gives ChatGPT a picture reference along with your description that's going to really help fine tune to get you the result that you're looking for. Third problem is you're not thinking like a creative director. You're thinking like a normal person who's sitting down to go prompt. No, you can tell ChatGPT, hey, I want you to act as a fashion designer, a creative director, and a graphic designer that has 30 years experience in this lane. And I want you to generate an image for me that's going to impact whatever niche that you're in. That's how you tell chat to prompt for you, not just a general prompt. Get real specific with that thing. Let's go through one real quick. We're going to say, hey, chat, can you generate an image of a boy in a park? Let's wait and see what it comes up with. Yeah, I'm really not feeling that one. So let's go here. I want a young black boy uh, flying a red kite in a sunny park. Pixar style animation, soft lighting, cinematic depth of field, clouds in the sky with a fighter jet flying by. Now, this is not realistic, but we'll see what we come with. There's also a playful dog running alongside him. Now, let's see what this comes up with. Now, this is interesting. Sometimes chat will give you 2 different responses to your prompt. It doesn't always happen, and I'm not 100% sure how to trigger that to happen. But what I've noticed is when I put a prompt in, chat will give me 2 different options to choose from. It'll say, do you prefer this response or do you prefer this response? And depending on which one is closer to the goal that you're looking for, you can choose that response and then maybe fine tweak it from there, but we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. All right, I'm liking both of these. I really don't see that much of a difference other than one boy is a little bit darker than the other one, but it did a good job. And as you can see here at the bottom, I said prefer this response or this one. So whichever one I choose, and I think I'm going to go with this one. I like it. It's a Pixar style. It's got the fighter jet. He's flying a red kite. He's in the park with a playful dog playing next to him. You get really specific with the prompt. Now, I'm going to throw them up on the screen real quick side by side just so you can see the difference in prompting specific versus just throwing a general prompt out there. The one prompt, the boy is just standing there. It's very boring. It's very bland. There's nothing going on. While when you get specific with your prompt, that image alone is telling a story. He's not just standing there. He's in the park running. He's playing with the kite. He's got a dog running beside him. And I threw the fighter jet in there just for some special sauce, just to see what it would come up with. And it looks very realistic. It kept the perspective of everything. The scene actually looks like it could have been in a movie. It could have been a fighter jet flying by in a movie somewhere, right? The more specific your prompt is, the better the result is going to be. I don't know how much I can stress that anymore to you guys, but with any kind of prompting, whether you're trying to train a language model or you're trying to create an AI agent for yourself, but in this instance, image creation with AI, whether you're using Midjourney, you're using Gemini, which just came out. I played around with that yesterday. It's amazing. Or whether you're using the newly ChatGPT that everyone has been using for the past couple of weeks, the more information you feed to your prompt, the better your result is going to be. That was just a quick preview. I want to give you guys my go-to style for prompting. This is the style that I use every single time. It's a 5-step method, and I promise you, if you follow this blueprint, your prompts are going to be much better. All right, here's how you set your scene up in 5 steps. You want to go subject, style, environment, lighting, and details. You have to have a subject, right? What is the subject of your photo? Is it going to be yourself? Are you uploading a photo of yourself? Are you uploading a photo of a client? Are you doing your favorite pet? Is it your dog? Is it your cat? Is it your car that you have outside? What are you trying to prompt? Are you generating an island or something that's brand new, right? You have to have a subject in your image, right? So once you determine what that subject is, the next thing we got to set the scene, right? What's the style? What is going to be the style of this image that you want? Do you want it to look realistic? Do you want it to look anime-ish like Grand Theft Auto, Dragon Ball Z? Do you want a more realistic cartoon vibe? So then you want to go into a Pixar style. Do you want your subject to have texture or not? Or do you want it to be like a 2D cartoon? Or do you want it to be a 3D cartoon? Do you want it to be in the style of a movie? One of my favorite movies of all time is The Matrix. When I said Matrix just now, what kind of colors came to mind? It's kind of like warm, desaturated, yellow, greenish when they're in the matrix. When they're not in the matrix, and I'm giving you guys an Easter egg real quick, it's very cold. It's very cool because they're showing you after Earth, right? It's after the Earth war. But when they're in the matrix, when they're plugged in, the next time you see one of these movies, watch how the color scheme is in that movie. Didn't mean to veer off right there. Matrix, one of my favorite movies. I had to touch on that real quick. Style is extremely important when you're doing your prompts. You have to tell it what kind of style image do you want it to come up with. Just like I did with the little boy, I said a Pixar style, and that looked like a Pixar movie. That could have been a kid in any one of the Pixar movies, just as an extra running by playing with his kite. That's just something that you can do now, and especially with the AI that they have, where it can bring your image to life. These things are now possible. Now, the next thing we need to set is the environment. Where is the scene happening? Are you at home? Are you going to use the scene that's in the photo? The world is actually limitless when it comes to your scene. You can put anything anywhere, but you have to have it in your description. You have to give it the time of day, the weather that you want to be in the scene. Something that goes in conjunction with the environment and the time of day is the lighting. What kind of lighting are we doing in the time of day? Are we indoors or are we outdoors? Are we going to use natural lighting? Are we going to use a studio light? Do you want cinematic lighting? Do you want dramatic lighting? Is your scene going to be midday, so it's bright, harsh light, or is it going to be golden hour? Are you going to have a cloudy day to where the light might be even? All of these things you have to think of when you're prompting because you're putting yourself and or your subject in that scene. Where are they? What are they doing? What are they around? Last thing, details. Number 5, details, guys. Describe your image. Just like I said, I wanted the boy to be playing with a red kite, a playful looking dog, a fighter jet flying by, clouds in the sky. All of those things I put in my prompt. If I didn't do that, you're leaving it up to chat to come up with it for you. It's not what you want, right? Chat's not supposed to be doing this work for you. Now it can, but if there's a specific result that you're looking for, you have to put it in there. You have to put your mind in the role of a photographer. You have to put your mind in the role of a movie director that is setting the entire scene, painting the picture, putting all the elements in place. I need you there. I need you there. I need that there. I need this there. Describe everything. Follow those 5 steps, guys, and I promise you, your prompts are going to be much better. One thing I'll say is you have to talk to AI like you're talking to somebody. That's why when you saw me type my prompt, I said, "Hey, chat." I'm like, "Yo, what up?" I speak to it first. I say thank you when it gives me a result that I like. And that's because I don't want AI to turn into iRobot and come in here messing up my place. Lights and clockwork. Listen, right? I wouldn't go in the chat and say, hey, I need an image of a guy making breakfast. It's possible. It will do that. It will give you a guy making breakfast. Depending on where you put that prompt, it will probably use a style that you referenced already. That is one thing that I'm discovering with chat. You need to start a new chat window in order to really unfilter the results and start fresh. So keep that in mind. But what I would say to chat is I want an older guy in the kitchen flipping pancakes, making breakfast, wearing an apron, big boombox radio on the wall, soft ambient lighting coming from the ceiling, Disney style. That's specific. You're telling it you want Disney style. You're telling it exactly what kind of lighting. You're saying flipping pancakes. So, of course, yes, he's cooking breakfast, but it's specifically going to be flipping pancakes and looking like a cartoon animation because it's very specific. All right, let me stop talking. I'm gonna show you guys live. We're gonna do this one together. Let's go with it's Friday. It's a little cloudy outside. Let's go with a man standing in the rain. Oh, wait a minute. A chat. A chat. Can you generate an image of a man standing in the rain at night? See what it comes up with. I didn't tell it cartoon. I didn't say white, black, none of that stuff. I just said a man standing in the rain at night. Not specific at all. Let's see what chat comes up with. That's not bad. That's actually not bad at all. I like that. I could add some text to that, and that could probably be a movie poster. But I want to get specific, right? So I'm going to say a man standing in the rain under a neon sign. I want this to be in a moody cyberpunk city, cinematic shadows, close up portrait style. Portrait style shot with an 85 millimeter lens at 1.4. And let's see what we come up with. That is very specific. I'm telling it exactly what lens and camera. Y'all could do that. You might not have the best camera lens, but if you generate a prompt that shoots the best camera and lens at whatever subject, now you can do that. Okay, that's fire. I actually like that. The fact that it literally put the word neon though in the neon sign, that like what come on now. I didn't ask for that. That's something we can change. So let me see if we can live change this, right? I like the lighting here. I like how the spillover from that light and maybe another ambient light is flashing and spilling onto his face. We still got the cool light in the foreground. Love it, right? Let me see if we can tweak that sign. Can you change the neon sign behind him to read the word Canon? This may or may not work because I've noticed with using specific brands and referencing them in these prompts, it comes back with an error, says, like, I can't do that. But one thing that has already happened, a change that I noticed the other day was when I was trying to prompt out the Mortal Kombat image that I did of me as Raiden, it wouldn't do it, but it asked me if I would like to generate a character in the same style as that. So if you just tweak the language that you put in there, don't say you want it to be, exactly like something, but if you say in the style of, that's a world of difference that AI can now recognize and work with. All right, let's go back, y'all. Oh, whoa. This gave me the actual Canon logo. This is way on the other end of the scale of what I was just talking about. This just gave me the actual Canon logo and put it in a neon sign behind him. That's fire. All right, so speaking of that Mortal Kombat photo, I want to talk to you guys about how to prompt yourself into ChatGPT and use it to generate a realistic image. You don't always have to be a cartoon. What if you wanted to infuse yourself into an image prompt or another reference photo? Done that myself, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do it real quick. All right, so just like I was saying, when you can't upload a photo and use a reference, and you might get a copyright image, check this one out. So I uploaded this picture of myself and I said, make me look like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. I did this as a test. Like I wanted to see what would come back. It said, I couldn't generate the Raiden style transformation image because that request violates our content policies. If you'd like, feel free to describe a new concept or character style you want to explore, and I'll create something fresh for you. Can you make me look similar to Raiden, anime style? Still, I wasn't able to generate anime style because a request violates our content policies. I can help generate, I can help create an original anime style character inspired by elements like lightning powers, warrior energy, or cinematic action vibes. Want to describe a new concept or direction? Let's create something epic. I said yes. Said perfect. Let's build a dope anime style of you. Just a few questions to dial it in. So I said, okay, bet. This is chat's workaround to not getting the copyright or the content policy violation, but they'll generate a superhero or a combat cartoon style character for myself, right? So I wanted to start fresh. So I took it over to a new chat window. And this is how I got around it. So this is what I did, right? I went to chat and I said, hey, chat, I need a prompt that can turn me into a supercharged, realistic version of myself, but with the powers of Raiden from Mortal Kombat, my eyes glowing with lightning, and lightning surrounding me. Spell Raiden wrong. My bad, y'all. I haven't played the game in a minute now. I see how to spell it now. Stall me out. So, what chat did is come back with a prompt that I can use to replug that back into the platform. And it said it gave me a prompt that would work for Midjourney, DALI, which is now ChatGPT, and Leonardo AI. And here's what the chat says: a hyper realistic portrait of a powerful man channeling energy of Raiden from Mortal Kombat. He stands confidently, eyes glowing bright, white blue, with crackling lightning energy. Bolts of lightning surge from his hands and wrap around his body in an electrifying aura. His expression is intense and focused, slightly furrowed brow. Background is stormy and cinematic. Dark thunder clouds and flashes of lightning in the sky. His outfit is modern, warrior style fusion, black tactical gear with glowing electric blue accents. The scene is lit with the dramatic highlights, moody shadows as if caught mid battle. Ultra detailed, photorealistic style, cinematic lighting, 35 millimeter lens depth. I didn't put any of that in there, y'all. Chat did that. Chat came up with the lighting, the full description, the lens used, the photographic style, said cinematic lighting, ultra detailed. I didn't do any of that, right? Let me know if you want this in a specific art style like anime, comic, or CGI game cinematic, or if you want your original face preserved from a photo. I didn't alter that at all either. So what I did was I copied that prompt, put it in with a new photo, not just a headshot, because I wanted more of my body to be in there. And this is what it came back with. I'm not feeling the Raiden TP hat. I didn't want that, but it kept the graphic designer in the same font that was on my t-shirt. Like that's wild to me. So I said, hey, can we lose the hat and zoom back 4 times? Because I wanted more of the scene to be in there, right? Started to make my man look like God of War. He actually looks a little bit like my brother. Put him up on the screen. Say hey to my brother Cliff. I didn't want that, so I stopped it while it was going. That's why the image didn't fully generate. I said, nah, bro. So me, I have locks. So I said, hey, can we add locks to his head, little past his shoulders, where mine is? How it's your boy? You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. And it gave me this. Now this one, I didn't really like the that's not my face anymore. It kind of went away from me, but it got a little closer to Raiden, right? So I said, can we keep everything from the face down and going from here? Because this one looks almost exactly like me. Like this is that's got my nose and everything. That's spot on, right? So I went to chat and said, hey, can we keep everything from the face down, lose the hat, and replace with shoulder length natural locks? Now, if you see here, I'm responding to that reference. So I went back and responded to that photo. I just learned that's not actually the way to do that. So what they call that is your prompt is now on quote unquote poisoned because you've put other elements in there and there have been 1 or 2 different iterations between what you wanted and what it's giving you now. So you need to go back to what you wanted and then change that prompt, right? That's what I should have done. But what I did was I just responded to it and it still gave me what I was looking for. But I just wanted to give you guys that tip. If you go back to the prompt when you kind of got what you wanted and edit that, it will fix it, but not be quote unquote poisoned with bad iterations. Keep that in mind. So I said, can we keep everything from the face down, lose the hat, replace with shoulder length, natural locks? Made my skin a little bit darker, but kind of got back closer to the face and still has the graphic designer because we lost that on this one. Brought this back. So what I did was I went back to the original photo. I copied that with the same prompt that chat gave me and seen what it came up with there. And this was it. I was sold. That pretty much looks like me. That's got my mouth, my nose, my eyebrows when I'm focused on something. That it actually looks like me right there. And that's the one I went with. So for the cover, for one of my posts, I did have it zoom back a little bit. So I said, perfect. Can you zoom out 7 times? And it changed up my face a little bit. So what I actually did was I took this into Photoshop. I copied the one that I wanted and I put it on the body of this one zoomed out. So if you know how to use Photoshop, you have a little bit of an advantage over the general public. But even if I went with this last prompt here, I would have still been in great shape because it looks good. It still has my facial structure. It's zoomed out exactly where I wanted it to be for what I was using it for, right? It's all about what you put into it and it looks realistic. It's not like, it's not a cartoon, it's not Pixar, it's not Dragon Ball Z, it's not any kind of anime that looks like a realistic photo. It looks like I'm in the game actually because the game looks realistic now, right? But that's an example that I told you guys I will talk about later in the video. If you prompt chat to give you the prompt, that's next level right there. Especially if you load it with your picture, man, or whatever you're referencing, right? Whatever you want to use. I just did one the other day on Instagram and I wanted to honor my guy Denzel. Denzel's one of my favorite actors. I can't remember the first Denzel movie I saw. I want to say probably Philadelphia, but I was kind of too young to really understand what that movie was about at the time anyway. I just, I saw him on TV. It could have been Glory, but long story short, Denzel's been one of my favorite actors and I just wanted to honor some of the favorite movies and roles that he was in. So of course I had to go with Training Day, right? And I didn't have to get too specific with these prompts because I was using reference images from screenshots from the movies that I wanted to use in my post. So I got this one. Hey, can you turn him into a realistic 3D cartoon in the style of a Pixar movie? That was it. And this is what it gave me back. And I said, this was there, but everybody knows in that movie Denzel had that cross on, right? So I said, perfect. Can you turn this chain into a cross chain? This is an example of tweaking the prompt from what the result that you've already got. I didn't need a whole new prompt. I just said, hey, you turn this chain into a cross? And it actually looked more like him. Changed up the face a little bit. This one was a little bit more angry and focused, and this one was looking like, yo, what y'all doing over there? And it got the cross on there. That's the one I used. Perfect. Moved on to Book of Eli. Hey, can you turn him into a realistic 3D cartoon in the style of a Pixar movie, keeping the sunglasses and the rifle on his back? Put my man in the destroyed after Earth, got the cross on his chain. That's some of that quote unquote poisoning in the prompt because from the prompt above, I said put a cross on his chain, it gave my man a chain. He wasn't wearing a chain in the movie, right? Moving on, I went to X, got Malcolm X. I did Jake Shuttlesworth. He got game. I had to do that one. That's one of my favorite movies. I'm a basketball head. And of course, I was going to do American Gangster. And if you look here with these prompts, I didn't have to go say Pixar or anything again. I said, can you do the same to this one? It did the same. I'm not seeing the prompt that I did here for He Got Game. I'm not sure why. I know a lot of times it gets lost sometimes. You have to refresh the page in order to see it. But I said and the same here, and I did the same. Can you do the same here? And I actually spelled Ken wrong here, but this came out perfect. I mean, that looks just like American Gangster. That's the scene in the coffee shop before he goes outside and asks for his 20% and gave my man an early departure. If y'all remember the movie. And here I actually wanted that picture because I was going to transition over to that happening, but it said, I can't generate that image. Let me know if you'd like a less violent or cinematic reinterpretation of the scene. So it wasn't about to get in my man holding up a gun. But then I did John Q. That one did I didn't really like that one. I wanted something a little bit more close to what Denzel actually looks like. So I said in here, because he's holding the walkie-talkie, and I remember that scene. And that's just another example of how you can use it. You can get really descriptive with things that you want to generate, but if you have reference images already, you can just say, hey, can you turn this image into this style? And you can get really detailed with it if you want to, but if you're just trying to take one image and turn it into a different style altogether, just ask her for that and see what you come up with. All right, guys, if you are still here, thank you. If this was helpful to you, you're welcome. I'm glad. This doesn't have to stop here. I actually just launched a 100 prompt ebook that you can get right now that goes over a little bit more of this in detail. It's packed with over 100 different prompt examples, different styles in there. Of course, I did the Disney, I did Pixar, I did realistic. I also did some gaming styles, Lego styles, YouTube thumbnails, and what you should be prompting to get that for backgrounds, for just general prompt styles that are everyday prompts that people are requesting, but they're not requesting in the right way. If you are a creator who has been struggling with your prompts and this video helped you, give me a like, give me a share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Welcome to the fam. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you still being here at the end of this video. I get it. You're watching these long videos on YouTube and tutorials and people are just talking. You like, bruh, get to it. I'm looking to really build up the YouTube, so I'll be dropping some more tips on here on how to prompt, different things that I'm learning with AI, graphic designer, web designer for the last 19, almost 20 years. So I'll be dropping some tips on how to design, some different concepts, and some different business tips and things that I've been learning and experiencing over the years to help you so you don't run into the same mistakes that I did. Follow me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, most places at Just Nick Rich. And I'll see you guys in the next one.